anyone would be hard-pressed to say anything positive about the Victorian Liberal Party at the moment. And if they did, it would most likely be a lie to mask criticism of a party that is clearly inept, incompetent, incapable, and now currently irrelevant. The Liberals have just climbed into the metaphorical boxing ring for some shadow boxing and have decisively lost every round to themselves. They have self-destructed during the past 2.5 years, with 3 major events having taken place, apart from the devastating loss in 2018 that have destroyed this party. Number one, the bizarre decision to re-elect an unelectable and politically unpalatable Matthew Guy as leader in 2020, when the party should have been bold and brave and looked to a more dynamic new leadership. Instead, it tried to play it safe. Number two, the resounding loss of the party at the recent Victorian state election. The party was trounced, and despite an almost 6% primary vote swing against Labor to 37%, the Liberals' vote dropped as well by 0.7% to just 29.7%. Victorians not only re-elected Andrews' government for a record 3rd term, but Victorians sent a crystal clear message to the party and to Matthew Guy: we just don't like or trust you. It was a message that was reflected in how Victorians voted and why they voted the way they did. The party failed to make any inroads into Labor's majority in what should have been an opportunity for it to capitalise on the growing anti-Andrews sentiment, and it proved to be a miserable failure. And number three, the now election of John Pesutto as the leader of Victorian Liberals. Pesutto's election is a reaffirmation of the party failing to learn from its losses and failures. The party should have grasped yet another opportunity to be bold and brave, rather than playing it safe once again. It seems the Victorian Liberals are averse to change and progression because the election of Pesutto was wrong. And here's why. Pesutto holds his seat by just 1,000 votes, which is a wafer-thin margin that would require either Labor, the Greens, or even an independent to just fart in Pesutto's direction, and he loses his seat. As a leader, that alone sees Pesutto offer no certainty of leadership. And then there will be the shadow ministry, where relics of the past will resurface with O'Brien, who was a failed leader, and Southwick, who has clearly been ineffective, demonstrating that the party stands for nothing and refuses to move forward with the re-engagement of O'Brien and Southwick. Even though Southwick was re-elected deputy leader, that is disturbing, because Southwick should never have put his hand up for the deputy leadership. He should also take responsibility for the pummeling of the party. Southwick has shown his motivation to re-nominate as deputy leader clearly is about self-interest and not party integrity. It's evidence that the party is stuck in a malaise and crippled by relics, ambushed by self-interest and controlled by men and women who have neither the interest of Victoria or the desire to reinvent the party and transform it into a more contemporary, relevant party at heart. It's obvious the Victorian Liberal Party remains hijacked and is held captive by forces interested in only self-interest. And Victorians shouldn't be fooled by the rhetoric of Pesutto and his claims of wanting to unify the party, because the informer believes that various members of the party were prepared to go to any length to secure Pesutto's leadership. And we know politics is a dirty game, and it's abundantly clear that the Victorian Liberal Party stands for nothing and has fallen from being a viable alternative choice of political party to a party that is now Labor's political punching bag. Simply, it's a rabble and full of people looking in the wrong direction without a vision for the future. And Victorians shouldn't be surprised if the Liberals in Victoria are overtaken by the Greens and the Nationals come the next election as the other major party. The Victorian Liberals can look to another 3 terms in opposition before it even gets a sniff of winning, and unless a sudden realisation and acceptance of its fundamental failings are addressed, the party could well have been condemned to political purgatory.